Okay folks, welcome back to UK Rails and More. Hope you're all doing great. Thanks very much for everyone who's subscribed to the channel recently. There's quite a few have subscribed recently, and also lots of people who've left comments as well, which is really good. The reason you're looking at this cup of tea, it might be worth getting one for this one, because it's basically just me going to be chatting about some developments on the lockdown layout, and particularly the embankment scene with the underpass, as you see there. So yeah, I'm going to talk you through some of the things that I've done. There's an overall look at the scene since last time. Okay, so starting off at this end, you've probably seen, if you've seen the recent reviews of the Jubilee class Quebec locomotive, and also the DRS class 57, that have done some additional detailing here. I've created the field to the left of the underpass, and this is just meant to be a kind of a not in use field, really, just kind of scrubland with different things. And again, I've used the mosses, the various different mosses that I've got from the garden for that one, so there's no cost to that at all. And I think certainly if you're focusing in on another area such as a locomotive up there, then it becomes, or it would normally become, a bit more blurry. So yeah, the very specifics of it, the scale and everything don't really matter. It's just about the overall effect. Moving on to the other side, I decided that I wanted to have some kind of ploughed field, or something that's had crops on it, or is going to have crops again on it. So this, if you can see, is basically compost. So there we go. So we've got more of the correct colour for it there. Now it is quite a bit darker than it shows on the screen here. That's supposed to be that it's more kind of fertile land. So we've just got that field there running up to the wall or hedge, as it may be. As you see from the track, we've also got a track bed now of ballast, and thanks very much to Lee Clark for this one. I never realised this, but that's actually coffee, though I'd better keep my voice down, as that may not go down too well, if you know what I mean. So yeah, coffee. I've not actually secured it yet. It's literally just been fashioned on. What I did do is just crumble it down a bit to try and reduce the scale of it, because some of the individual granules were massive, but I think that gives quite a good effect when you can't get hold of the real stuff. It's a similar colour to some kind of ballast that I've seen previously. So thanks, Lee, for that. Great idea. Okay folks, so moving on to the underpass itself. Again, I've tried to do everything with this mini layout just with items that I've got to hand. So I've not got any brick paper or stone paper or anything like that. But what I have got is plenty supply of cardboard. So this is just packaging material for cereals, etc. And I've just literally just penciled on a bit of a stone effect, which from a distance should look okay. Yep, it's not perfect, but it just gives a better appearance than the parcel tape stuff that we had previously. And thanks again to Lee for that suggestion for an improvement. Literally all I've done is penciled in some basic marks, highlighted some bits in between the stones, and then just rubbed it, smeared it in with a moist finger, just to add a bit of a slightly grimy and weathered effect. So quite pleased with that. Moving on to the top of the bridge, I've also added some small strips of wood, just to give kind of a maintenance walkway at the side of the bridge for the various engineers and maintenance workers. They have actually been busy doing some work, so they've been installing some cabling here for a new signal in relation to a new branch that's going to be coming off this line a bit further up. So as we can see, that's basically the red tubing that I've got there is just off the end of an old WD-40 tin. So there's always stuff lying around. You've got a little bit of insulation cable there, and also a little bit of copper wire inside. Now, the maintenance workers that have left that copper wire are not going to be in the good books with the British Transport Police with all the cable thefts going on the railway. So they've left that cable out there for anyone light-fingered to have away. So won't be too happy about that. Okay, moving on to the other side. At the top of that access point, we've basically installed some steps. Now, scale-wise, these steps on the real thing, they are actually very small. Whether they're this small, I don't know, but it's the best I could do, really. That is, believe it or not, just a cable tie, which I thought looked quite good as a set of steps. So that just gives the workers access from below to inspect the bridge, etc. Now, there was actually an accident on here recently. One of the track maintenance gang, he was so blown away by watching Jubilee Quebec going past, he stepped back and sadly he fell off the edge of the wall there. So since the health and safety executive have been, and they have actually insisted as a temporary measure, there needs to be some handrails on the side and also some of that purple cable or temporary plastic railings, as you sometimes see, and that's just a basic fruit packaging. Now, if anyone's wondering how Bob Barraclough is doing after his nasty little tumble off the edge there, I'm glad to say he was taken to hospital, but he's doing just fine, recovering nicely with a broken ankle. He was due to retire fairly soon, so it's come as a bit of a shock, but we certainly wish him all the best, so get well soon, Bob. Now, what the maintenance team were doing were they were removing some tree branches and some tree trunks there of trees that were deemed to be a bit of a danger hazard to the line in the event of strong winds, etc. So you can see the trees down there, and also some of the sawdust where they've been cutting them up ready for moving away. However, even though they've moved a good number of trees, they've left this small tree here. Just keep Greta Thunberg happy. So yeah, on a more sensible note, basically they are just branches of found twigs in the garden, and that is a bit of real sawdust from just some branches I was cutting before. Again, the tree is just fashioned with some of the moss material, and I think it gives quite a decent effect. Inside here you've got basically that's soil. Dry soil is the lighter coloured material with little bits of stones and pebbles in it, and then I've also put some of the, I don't know if you can see it too well there, but there's also some of the compost scattered in as well, and certainly there's quite a bit of the compost scattered in further in to give a darker appearance from inside the tunnel. Again, you can put some more of that in there, and it just gives a bit more of an appearance that maybe, you know, with that being a choke point, there's more animals going through it, etc. Herd of sheep down the other side. Thanks, Lee. And if you'd like to build a similar lockdown layout for yourself, basically if you go onto the playlists, you'll find a playlist there for lockdown layout build, and that guides you through the whole process of the scenery and also the initial construction of basically a layout that's built entirely out of cardboard. Okay folks, other materials I've used that were lying around was a bit of cement, so just cement dust, and just takes the edge off the end of the field there, and again just used a bit more scenic material around the edge. Ideally I would continue do something with the walls as well, or make them into hedges, but hopefully it's given you a good idea of what you can use just knocking about even real things like real sawdust and real twigs to simulate trees, because your colours are always going to be right with them. And that's the overall effect of viewing some trains. Okay, the track maintenance workers have all nipped off early for a pint at the nearby Fox and Hound pub, as this is pre-lockdown era. Speaking of lockdown, hope everyone's keeping safe and well. In terms of this small layout, you'll see it again when I'm running trains, but really I've reached probably a point now where I could keep on going on developing it, but I'm just going to end up putting more and more time into it. Whereas it's really just was a bit of an experiment, really, just to see what you could build without materials that you're ordering. So this basically has cost me next to nothing. I've not actually bought anything to build this small little diorama, scene, etc., whatever you want to call it, and indeed the entire layout. It's all just materials that have been knocking around in the garden, natural materials, cardboard, very basic. Yeah, there's a track, the original train set, and also I bought 2 pieces of flexi track as well. So that is the real cost, but everything else like the cabling, insulation tape, things like that, all absolutely free. The cardboard was just waste cardboard from boxes of things I'd ordered. And yeah, your main cost probably a little bit of packaging tape, which we had lying around anyway. So hopefully that's shown what you can actually achieve just with next to no cost. Things to come, I've ordered the materials for the main modular layout, which I'm looking forward to building, and that will be something that will be using probably more conventional techniques, but hopefully this shows you how you can improvise. There'll also, before that, there's a couple more reviews to do, and also if we get the weather, a few more garden running sessions, and a few other ideas in the pipeline as well, maybe a bit of different stuff as well. So hope you've enjoyed. If you've watched all of that, you've been very patient. Thanks very much for commenting. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now. Okay folks, enough of the farmyard noises, just trying to add a bit of atmosphere there really. You're just looking at a few photographs of extra details of the various parts, the steps. You can see obviously the track pins there I've used, could do with tidying up. And just adding a bit of interest to the top of the bridge there, the cabling and the other embankment scene. Yeah, just shows you what can be achieved really. I'm just doing this little voiceover just to practice this feature as well for adding to videos for the future. So hope you found this useful. Some really good materials can just be found around the house and in the garden, and you can use them to pretty good effect, as hopefully I've shown here. So yeah, hope you're all doing well with your own layouts or just watching. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.